2016 Olympics is on the line here in Changsha over the course of the next couple of weeks. The second game here today, seeing a tournament superpower, the Philippines, hosts of 2 years ago, taking on Palestine in that historic first ever tournament at this level. So a successful Philippines team playing in the competition for the 26th time, taking on a Palestine team that makes history today with their first ever appearance on this stage. Analyst Paul O'Kennedy alongside me, Tim Long. Paul, what can we expect from this contest here today?
Well, it's an exciting day to be here, isn't it, with Palestine coming into this competition for the first time. They were a surprise packet at the West Asian Championships to qualify. They came third, they defeated Syria and Iraq, and they took Lebanon. They forced them to a close game, so it was an exciting time. They're a bit of an unknown quantity, though, to the rest of the tournament. The teams in West Asia know what to expect, but speaking to Philippines coach Tad Baldwin, he's not sure what he's going to see. He thinks they'll be a slightly different team to the one that he's seen on videotape from that West Asian Championship. But one thing is for sure, Palestine come here with nothing to lose in this tournament. They weren't expected to qualify, and now they come here to take a free swing against a big team like the Philippines and see what they can do on day one. In terms of the Philippines, it couldn't be more the opposite, could it? They are, as you referred to them, a power country of Asian basketball, and once upon a time they were arguably the strongest club, the strongest country in Asian basketball. They dropped off the scene for a while, but 2 years ago in Manila, at this tournament in their hometown, they bounced back with a silver medal to really show that they were back in town. There's Jerry Steele, the Palestine coach, who's been credited with so much of this resurgence in Palestine basketball. But in terms of the Philippines, we see the players being introduced. There's Jason Castro there coming out. Last year at the FIBA Basketball World Cup in Spain, they recorded their first win at that tournament in 40 years. Their country, basketball is like a religion in the Philippines, and it sent their country into raptures. But it's a little different for them this year too. They come here with a lot of expectations. In Manila 2 years ago, their run to the silver medal was like a Cinderella story. This year, they're expected to win a medal, and there's Tad Baldwin, the man responsible for guiding the team to success. We'll see how they can start off today.
Well, both sets of players introduced to the fans here will pause for the national anthem, starting with Palestine.
So, please remain standing for the national anthem of Philippines.
Philippines silver medalists on home soil 2 years ago, about to take on Palestine, looking to take the competition by storm in their first ever FIBA Asia Championship game. They've got an almighty task in front of them here, faced by the second most successful team in tournament history, the most fanatical basketball nation in the world. Alongside me, our expert analyst Paul O'Kennedy will take you through the key players on display for both nations here on the opening day.
Well, another exciting aspect about today's game is the first chance for world basketball fans to see Sani Sakakini in action. You know, he was the dominant force at the West Asian Basketball Championships. In their 2 wins, he scored a combined 74 points, pulled in a combined 34 rebounds in those 2 games. And those are extraordinary numbers. He was a dominant, powerful figure in that game. And so today we get to see, can he produce that sort of form against a world-class opponent like the Philippines? And how will the Philippines go about defending him? Are they going to double-team him in the post and try and make other players beat him? You know, it's going to be interesting to see how Tad Baldwin directs his team to play. We see the Palestine lineup there, and probably a big key for them is the backcourt. We see there Ahmed Haroun, Imad Kawash, and Jamal Abu Shamala. That's their key backcourt players, and they have a huge job today. There's probably a couple of things. First, they've got to withstand the defensive pressure from the Philippines and get the ball into Sakakini in the low post. You know, if he's not getting the ball in those preferred spots, he's no use. And then when he gets double-teamed, those guards, they've got to nail the shots to punish the Philippines, or else it's going to be a long night. We see their starting lineup there. We've got Haroun and Abu Shamala in the backcourt. We've got Kawash there alongside him. And then the Sakakini brothers, Sani and Salim, and they're both, as you can see on screen, big physical players. And real key today is, can they pound the ball inside? Can they overwork those Philippines players inside? There's the man who'll be guiding them, Jerry Steele. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And while a lot of people credit Sani Sakakini with lifting Palestine basketball, he deflects that credit to Jerry Steele for the work that he's done. We see the Philippines roster. That number 1, that's as far as you have to go to see the key for them. Andre Blatch, the big fella. You know, such an immense presence. Every bit as important to the Philippines as Sakakini is to Palestine. He burst onto the international scene at last year's FIBA Basketball World Cup. He was first in rebounding. He was 3rd in scoring. He could dominate this tournament. The question mark is he fit? He hasn't played competitively since February in China. So he's going to need some help, and you can see there the men who are going to work with him. Mark Pingras, number 15, he's going to be a key. He's the nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes guy who will do the hard work inside. He'll set the screens. Jason William, he's the point guard who'll make it happen. And Gabe Norwood, who's a defensive key for them. Look for him to be up the floor, putting a lot of pressure on the Palestine guards.
It's a fascinating and almost unknown quantity of a game here, with Palestine coming in with no experience at this level on this stage at all, and they will be so motivated for this. The Philippines with all that expectation now after success on home soil a couple of years ago. They have the pressure on them. Palestine trying to hope that they crack under that pressure. There's the star player, Blatch. Question marks over his fitness. Certainly no question marks over his ability. What are we going to see from him on the opening day? We're already in China for the second game of game day 1 at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. Myself, Tim Long, alongside analyst Paul O'Kennedy, all set to talk you through the action here in Changsha. The Philippines with 5 gold medals, 3 silvers and a bronze, reigning silver medal holders, taking on a Palestine team without a minute of experience at this tournament. Will the occasion get to them, or will they play without fear with nothing to lose? It's Blatch who wins the opening tip. The Philippines will look for the first points in this one. This is Castro to Blatch, who's going to take the shot straight away. 3 off the mark, offensive rebound. Norwood, a fresh 14 to work with here for the Philippines. They're putting it up from the outside again. Can't hit, trying to get another offensive board, and eventually Palestine come away with it.
2 outside shots from the get-go from the Philippines, and I think that's a preview of what we're going to see from them.
Palestine will look to try and take the lead here. They do. Interference called, so Abu Shamala gets the first points on the board for them in the history of the FIBA Asia Championship. The Philippines will to try and score their first points of this tournament from the outside again. Third time looking from three-point range.
At both ends, we're seeing teams go to their strength. We saw Palestine last possession straight inside. Let's see if they do it again.
Mid-range, put in by Kawash. To 2 for 2 from downtown for them.
Exquisite ball handling there from Kawash. He got the high ball screen outside the three-point line. He wasn't afraid to pull it up quick, even though we probably suspect Palestine want to play a slower game and not let the Philippines get into a running style.
2 for 2 from the field, I should say, both inside. The attempts from Palestine for their 4 points. And they have the slender lead in the opening minute here. Philippines looking for their first lead, driving inside for this one, deflected away off the feet of Pingras.
And we see Palestine in man-to-man defense, and interesting, it's Salim Sakakini who's defending Blatch. They're keeping their star, Sani Sakakini. They're keeping him fresh at the defensive end so he can score the points at the other end.
Kawash, the prod and pro, bounce pass, they'll try and get closer to the basket. Blatch is there to reject the ball.
And we see that matchup repeated at the other end. The same deal with the Philippines. They don't want Andre Blatch expending his energy defensively.
Pirouette into the lane, off the mark though when Blatch pulls in the rebound. We talked about maybe the lack of his fitness and athleticism at the moment with the condition that he's in. He didn't really need to jump to make that rejection a few seconds ago. Here he is trying to grab another rebound at the other end. And deflected away in the end off the fingertips of Sakakini. Still Philippines ball. Inbound to the perimeter here to Pingras. Moved on to Castro. Castro looking to drive inside, gets away from one, away from two. Nice pass as well. And put in by Pingras.
And that's what Jason Castro can do. And viewers might see on his shirt it says William on the back. That's his father's surname, but he's now taken on his mother's surname. So he's known as Jason Castro.
Take the long three here, and nothing but net from the outside for Palestine from way beyond the setting sun. Sakakini gets going.
Yeah, and welcome to the big time, Sani Sakakini. He shows us he's not just an inside player, he's got range as well.
Quickly moving to the other end from Jason Castro, knowing why they call him the Blur in the Philippines. This game starting to spring into life now. The wash. Here's Sakakini looking to shake off the tensions of Pingras, looking to play aggressively. Steps away for the mid-range jumper, well short, grabbed by Blatch. Castro again, wide open three. It's short, and then grabbed by Shamala. And given away. The Philippines will look to take advantage, should take advantage, and do take advantage as Castro puts it in.
And we see there the long arms of Gabe Norwood getting that deflection. Expect to see him putting that pressure up the court all night long.
Palestine now have to try and get back level here with Abu Shamala. Makes the long two, short again. There's an infringement inside.
I thought 2 possessions ago we had Sakakini on the low post, and it was interesting to see, as we see Jason Castro with that trademark speed and finish. It was interesting to see that the Philippines didn't double team. They backed Pingras to defend him one-on-one. He forced him into a tough turnaround jump shot.
Sani Sakakini again, back to the perimeter. That's going to be a 2. It's off the mark anyway from Kawash. Blatch looking to drive forward, fancy move from Andre Blatch. Forward, fancy move from Andre Blatch, who shows he's still got that ability he showed at the World Cup.
And that's what he can do, and that's a bit of everything. He can drive, he can shoot, he can post up, and he's a tough cover.
He almost looked a bit bulky and laboured as he moved towards the basket, but still with that ability. And you just feel his fitness is going to pick up the longer the tournament goes on, and that's a worry for everybody else in this competition.
Yeah, it's spot on, and that's a great challenge for Coach Baldwin. How does he manage the minutes so that he does get fresher without wearing himself out towards the end of the tournament?
Black's trying to grab another rebound here and does so. His rebounding numbers looking impressive early on. It's behind the back move from Black, who's almost becoming a human highlight reel early on in this one. Palestine able to get away with it, to force it in, struggling to score from the field at the moment. Try from the outside, another miss, and then grabbed by Toss.
That's 2 misses in a row from Kawash, and he's got to make that shot to get the Philippines defense out of the key.
Foul on Kawash here. Castro looked to burst past him. His first.
And I think depth will play a factor here today. The Philippines have more depth on their bench, so they're going to want to push the ball, test out the Palestine starters, and then force them to go to the bench and see what the reserves can do.
Palestine short-handed here. The Philippines with great strength and depth. And how about this from Andre Blatch? He's doing a bit of everything. 5 early points for him, and the lead has grown to 7.
And Palestine are going to have to get a hand up there. They're going to have to force him to drive and get the help there.
Decent start for them, but they've really struggled over the last few minutes. The Philippines are looking to take full advantage. There's the entry pass for the layup. No good for Toss. Kawash. Can they stop the bleeding here from the outside? It's another miss. Rebound grabbed by Intel. Philippines attacking now with Castro. Recovered on the baseline and put in at the second attempt by Sonny Toss.
I think it's just a matter of time before Jerry Steele from Palestine takes a timeout. They need to talk about this, but the thing we chatted about at the start was the test for the Palestine perimeter players to hit that shot, and so far they've failed that test.
It's an 11-0 Philippines run. We've got a whistle on the play here, and it's an 11-0 run that's seen burst from behind to take the lead. It's a foul on Toss.
I think that last play just showed a little bit of maturity from the Palestinians. You know, they were struggling to get a basket, they slowed it down, they went to their key player in the low block, and here he is again.
Wide open 3 here. No good again. Another miss from the outside, another rebound for Blatch. Looking to attack quickly with Romeo. To kick back out by Intel. Blatch going to drive into traffic, and he just wanted to bulldoze through the defense and will earn a trip to the line.
Palestine sticking with this man-to-man defense, but for me, you know, how long do you stay with that? You know, the Philippines are slicing through the defense. They're quicker offensively. How long before they go to the zone? And the Philippines are a good 3-point shooting team, but you've got to make them prove they can beat you from there, rather than being able to get to the basket, draw fouls, and shoot free throws or layups.
Blatch is doing a very good job of getting to the basket so far and adding to his tally. Now has 6 points. He's got 6 rebounds in these opening 6 minutes. On course for an impressive stat line again. Exposed from the line. He's shown he can hit inside, he can hit from the foul line, and he can hit from the outside. He's certainly shown he can rebound the ball and gets the high fives as he takes a seat.
He's certainly earned himself a rest, and we see Ranadel Diocampo into the game. He's the energy guy. You know, look at him up the court here with the double team, putting the pressure on.
Played out to that pressure. Abu Shamala stops the bleeding from the outside. First points in a long time for Palestine. Cut it from a double-digit deficit down to 8. Romeo moves it on to Norwood. Norwood hands the ball off here to Campo. And back out to the outside. They'll try and answer back with a 3 of their own. Off the mark and then over the top of the backboard.
That shot there from Terrence Romeo. The Philippines have lost Jimmy Alapag, who was their spark plug off the bench for a number of years now. And Romeo is seen as the young player to come in and fill that role, and to give them that real energy off the bench.
That's inside. Looks back to that basket here, Palestine. Travel called here. They'll turn the ball over.
Yeah, early in the game, I really like the pick and roll and the pick and pop between Kawash and Sakakini. And I think they've gone away from that a little bit. I think they need to go back and put the pressure on the Philippines defense to rotate and react.
The drive down the lane was Campo, but they'll turn the ball over here instead. Opportunity for Palestine to close the gap a little further. Philippines have threatened to blow this first quarter wide open, but now an opportunity for Palestine to make it a close game again.
And it's so crucial that they do make that ground while Blatch is on the bench.
Back out to the perimeter, they'll try another from downtown. They get it to rattle in. The Wash hits a three, it's a 5-point game. And now it's called at 2, foot on the line.
Yeah, but the last 2 times we've seen Kawash and Abu Shamala make those shots, and that's a great sign for Jerry Steele and his team.
That one was certainly a 3 from Romeo. The lead is 9. The Wash kicks it back out to the outside. Missed this one. Real battle for the boards, and it's the boss, the toss, who comes away with it. Chance to drive down the lane, back out to the far side. Out of bounds, foot on the line here from the number 9 Intel. So the Philippines turn it over.
And you saw that last possession, Palestine went back to that pick and pop with Kawash and Sakakini. The shot missed, but they had 3 players in rebounding position because the Philippines had to rotate. And we saw last game how important offensive rebounding was for Hong Kong, and I think it's something that Palestine really need to focus on too.
2 is way off the mark. Palestine down by 9 with 2 minutes in the first quarter to play. Back comes the big man. Andre Blanche has had his rest. He's looking to do more damage. Sonny Toss takes a seat. 4 rebounds for him in this first quarter. Romeo to get away. Found a way to tussle past Kawash and flips it up and in.
And once again, we see the speed of the Philippines on penetration, and Palestine coach Jerry Steele is going to have to address that.
Nice move to get towards the basket, but they missed the layup. Back out to the outside. Plenty of time to work with here, and trouble. Another turnover for Palestine.
We're just seeing Sakakini the last few possessions. Some things haven't gone his way. He's just starting to rush things a little bit, lose his composure. And it might be a time to sit him on the bench for a couple of minutes, let him refocus, and put him back out there.
With a digit lead in the first quarter, 90 seconds to play. Offensive ball grab by Campo, back out to Blanche. Fakes the long 3, drives inside, between 2, away from 3, and flips it in again. Another highlight reel play from the big man.
Well, if he can do that all tournament, the Philippines are going to go deep into week 2, that's for sure.
Abu Shamala going to try from 3-point range. One was well short. Blanche perched and waiting again. Bypasses him and goes inside. Lovely pass from Waiver and put in by Dio Campo.
And they call up Waiver the beast because he plays all energy. And we saw there, he didn't hesitate to penetrate in transition and made a beautiful pass to finish it off.
Palestine have problems here, down by 15. Another travelling ball. And it's on Kawash. I think there's been 3 of those now.
There has. That was a tricky move from Kawashi. He up-faked. He thought he kept 1 foot on the ground, but I think his move was even a little too tricky for the referee. And
talk about tricky moves.
That was far too. If he can do that all tournament, the Philippines are going to go deep into week 2, that's for sure.
Abu Shamala going to try from 3-point range. One was well short. Blanche perched and waiting again. Bypasses him and goes inside. Lovely pass from Waiver and put in by Dio Campo.
And they call up Waiver the beast because he plays all energy. And we saw there, he didn't hesitate to penetrate in transition and made a beautiful pass to finish it off.
Palestine have problems here. Down the first quarter. Big first quarter. The Philippines will try and add to it here from the foul line. The mark, grabbed by Blanche though. Blanche going to put it up from mid-range. He misses 2. Palestine will come away with it. Can they end the first quarter with a silver lining? what has otherwise been a dark cloud of a performance over the opening 10 minutes.
Coach Tab Baldwin was wanting his team to foul when the clock was low on that occasion, but young Romeo, who's inexperienced, let it go too early, and I think Tab will let him know all about that at quarter time.
5 seconds here for them to get a look. They'll put it way outside. That was never going to go. A couple of yards short of the basket. What a first quarter it's been for the Philippines. A real struggle for Palestine in their first ever quarter of basketball at the Asia Championships. And Andre Blatch has been the star of the show here. 9 points and 7 rebounds. Philippines lead 27-12 at the end of one.
Well, I guess that first quarter was a lot what we expected. We look at the rebounding numbers there, 18-10, although a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Philippines are forcing Palestine into tough shots. We see them there 3 of 12 from two-point range and just 2 of 9 from the perimeter. And that's been the key. You know, the Philippines, they look like a team that's experienced at this level of basketball. They've had that composure, they've moved the ball, but they've got it to Blatch in dangerous situations. Whereas for Palestine, they've shown that little bit of lack of composure, rushed themselves at times. As we look at some of the highlights from the first quarter, and it has been a three-point barrage from early on, but then Andre Blatch took it upon himself to get to the basket. He might be in pristine condition, but he certainly showed he can still play. And Kawash looked dangerous for Palestine, and if they're going to get back into this game, they need him to keep making shots like that.
You know what, if you can close in on a double-double in the first quarter when you're not in pristine condition, that's some player with some ability.
Yeah, and what really impressed me was that he did it all within his own strengths, didn't he? He didn't rush anything. He was very composed. He just took what the game gave to him, and it was certainly an impressive performance. And I think an important thing for the Philippines is if they can put this game away early, they can let him rest on the bench and stay fresh for later in the tournament.
So Blatch, 9 points and 7 rebounds in 8 minutes on court. And Palestine haven't really had the answers to his talents. They have to come back strong in the second quarter, down by 15. It's the Philippines who lead 27-12. Plenty of fans in attendance here. Chongqing as well. It's really good to see. First shot of the second quarter off the mark. Chance for the Philippines to grow the lead.
And we see Kawasha again going to the left for his pull-up jump shot. That seems to be his pet move. A couple of them are rimmed out though, but he looks very capable in that situation.
We see Blatch attacking aggressively again. And drawing the contact on Ahmed Yunis.
Blatch was 1 or 2 from the three-point line in that opening quarter, but you know, is it going to get to a point, if he's getting to the basket and drawing fouls so regularly, will it get to the point where they do have to stand off him a little bit? Or do they need one defender with a hand in his face and another already there in help position, forcing him to pass that ball off earlier?
He's already into double figures in scoring now. 10 points as he misses the second free throw. 16-point lead and no score for over 3 minutes now for Palestine. To try and end that drought here. Finding space from mid-range, can't get it to go, can't tip it in either. It's Abueva who comes away with it. Move it to the corner. So Campo goes back to Abueva. Hands it off to Blatch. Blatch looking to barrage his way through again. Not get the drop this time.
It's the same move again from Blatch. He drives to the right, he steps across to the left, and then the finger roll with the right hand. But that time it lipped out.
By Kawash, and they'll put it up. Nice move from Abu Shamala. That stops the bleeding.
He's up to 7 points already. He's got 3 rebounds, and he's perhaps been the standout for Palestine so far.
Foul as Yunis tried to steal the ball here. He had a window of opportunity, called for his second personal. Non-shooting foul, so Philippines to inbound the ball with Pontiveros towards Blatch. Just letting others provide the movement now. By Romeo, back to Blatch over on the perimeter. He's going to look to drive inside again. Draws the contact, they just can't deal with it.
Very patient offense. As you said, he allowed others to cut off him. He drew little handoffs, and he waited for his moment across the other side of the floor. But you see there, the help defense isn't getting to him till right at the basket, and that's too late. You know, he's 211 centimeters. He's got lovely touch around the hoop. They've got to get help to him before he's within range to do that little finger roll.
The first one good from the foul line for Blatch, who had phenomenal numbers at last year's World Cup. 21.2 points per game, and the leading rebounder in the competition with 13.8 a game. He's on course in this first game of the Asia Championships for similar numbers. 11 points and 7 rebounds now. 4 of 5 from the line already. I'll tag one more onto his tally then. It's 15, the Philippines. Here's Yunis. To attack now with Kawash again. Gets away momentarily on the far side, steps back. Shot clock's down to 5 already here. He's providing the defense. Had to take the extra pass. And the 3 from way outside by Abu Shamala, who's stepping up.
Yeah, he doesn't want his team to go quietly into the night, does he? He's taking the big shots and he's making them at the moment.
10 points for him already. Philippines will answer back with one of their own off the mark, and a chance to close the gap now for Palestine. Only down by 12. Here they come. Again, attacking right down the heart of the Philippines defense. Good move from Kawash, drawing the contact from Romeo.
I like the look of Kawash when he's aggressive. You know, the defenders can't stay in front of him. The big test will be, he's the main point guard for Palestine. They don't have a lot in reserve, so he's going to have to be aggressive, but he's going to have to be smart with it so he can get all the way through these 3 preliminary games. But I like it when he's going to the basket.
4 points early on, and a chance to add to that, and does add to it from the foul line. And a chance to make it just a 10-point game. Philippines have been up by as many as 16, really threatening to blow it wide open, but Palestine not allowing them to get away. Jason Castro hands it off, they'll move it through Montiveiros to Blatch, who hands it off himself. That's lovely passing, lovely movement, lovely penetration towards the basket, but they can't get it to drop off the basket, and then Blatch picks it up, spins, puts it in, and draws the contact as well.
And that's heartbreaking for Palestine. It was an excellent defensive set. They guarded a number of handoffs and penetration, and then they give up the offensive rebound to Blatch, and he makes them pay.
13 points and 8 rebounds now for Andre Blatch, who is only going to get bigger, stronger, and better throughout this tournament. Has one more than that impressive tally. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Palestine looking to continue to play aggressively, and they draw the first foul on Blatch.
And we see Castro try and pin Kawash to the right-hand sideline there. He doesn't look quite as comfortable dribbling with that right hand. And we saw him almost lose it against the side of his body there.
Sakakini can do with him stepping up right now with a hand in his face from Blatch. Can't hit the shot, an offensive board though. Back out to the perimeter for another 3. This one's short, another offensive board. A foul on Blatch. The second in quick succession, and Sakakini will go to the line for 2.
And I really like that play from Sakakini. You know, he was struggling to get his shots off. Blatch did a great job defensively, contesting it. But what do? Go and get an offensive rebound. Get yourself involved in another way, and that makes Blatch think about defending him a little bit differently.
Sani Sakakini at the line, 3 points, 6 boards, and a couple of assists so far in this first half.
And I'd really like to see, now that Blatch is guarding Sakakini, I'd like them to go back to that pick and pop from the mid-range. Because I don't think Blatch has got that lateral quickness at the moment to cover both Kawash and then retreat back to Sakakini.
Second foul shot good for Sakakini. Makes it a 12-point game. Into the game comes Asi Taulava, 42 years of age, playing in these Asia Championships. Welas looking to attack. The baseline was Taulava, kicks it back out to the perimeter, 3 off the mark. And a chance for Palestine to close the gap a little further.
Abu Shamala on the boards again. He's been super active so far this game.
He is now on the offensive end, harassed by Welas. Just shake off the intentions of the defense and knock it down.
How about the composure on that move? He just had that little hesitation to throw the defense off, and then he can still make the jumper.
The Philippines unable to answer back with a 3, and here comes Kawash. Pace slips, able to grab the ball and still play the pass. Palestine make the most of this situation now as they drive from the outside, rattles around, hit back, and won't quite go down for them.
And in the lead up to this game, Tab Baldwin's concern was offensive rebounding, and we're seeing that just starting to come to the fore here.
9 offensive boards for Palestine. The Philippines 7. It's the Philippines who lead 32-22. They've threatened to get away, leading by as many as 16, but Palestine have made sure they've kept it around this differential for a while and hoping to reel the Philippines back in. We've got a timeout on the floor around the midway point of the second quarter. The Wash has stepped up, making some big shots, 6 points for him.
Well, it's a 10-5 run to Palestine so far this quarter, and that's full credit to them. You know, being 15 down early in your first ever appearance of this tournament, you could easily sort of let the game slip away. But to their credit, they've fought back there. Defensively, they've guarded penetration a lot better. It'll be interesting to see what the Philippines run coming out of this timeout. Is there something for Jason Castro? Is there something for Abu Eva to get them going into the heart of the defense again?
It would have been easy for Palestine heads to drop, given the start that the Philippines had. They've shown plenty of fight, plenty of character to certainly make sure this is still a game as we head towards the midway point of the second quarter. It's only a 10-point differential. A travel call, that's not what they wanted coming back off the timeout.
No, for one of the first times since early in the game, they had Sakakini one out in the low block. They prefer him on the right block too, and a little shuffle of the feet ruins the best laid plans.
Driving down the baseline now is a waiver, and he draws contact.
And no surprise that Tab Baldwin, recognising his team wasn't getting to the basket, he runs a play for one of his most athletic players to get to the rim.
Attacking aggressively. Youssef called for the foul, the 20-year-old centre. Sakakini, who had the turnover at the other end. And now Abueva at the line. Gets the first to go. His first points of this tournament.
And remarkably, at the William Jones Cup this year, Abueva, he averaged 10 points a game in just 13 minutes per game. You talk about an energy guy off the bench.
Plenty of weapons in this Philippines roster. Can't blow Palestine away just yet, and Palestine are fighting back with character still as Kawash gets hit. Couldn't quite get it to drop, but we'll go to the line for 2.
And after the last FIBA Asia Championship in Manila, it was, you know, the consensus was that Jason Castro was now the best point guard in Asian basketball. But Kawash, he's having none of that. He's going right at him time and time again, and here he is at the free throw line.
A chance to add to his 6 points in the first half. Does so. They'll need every one of those they can get, facing such a difficult challenge here against the second most successful nation in the history of this tournament. They're certainly showing that they can keep up with the Philippines for now. Castro moves it on. Bounce pass intercepted by Abu Shamala, who comes up with another big play. A chance to make it a single-digit game now, around the midway point of the second quarter. I'll put it up here with Youssef. Can't get it to go, rebound grabbed by Kawash.
And that time, no Palestinian player on the offensive rebound. The missed shot sat up there, the opportunity was there. They've got to stay committed to that part of the game.
Quick attack from Jason Castro, drawing contact from Abu Shamala. Only his first foul.
Team Palestine, standard 400.
You can see why they call Jason Castro the blur. They were caught within a couple of seconds there. Straight away, in the blink of an eye, he's at the foul line. 6.5 points per game at last year's World Cup. 11.8 points per game. 3.3 boards and 3 assists in these championships 2 years ago. Gets both from the line. It's a 12-point lead.
And he set Manila alight in these championships 2 years ago, and really keen to see him later in the game, later in the tournament.
Running into trouble and into traffic there was Kawash, and he's turned the ball over. The Philippines will look to make them pay. They can't do as it rolls around the rim and drops out for Abueva. And we've got a foul as well.
Abueva will be kicking himself. He doesn't miss too many of those. And you see the danger when you let the Philippines get out into the open court. We've seen the last 2 possessions, Castro and Abueva, they're impossible to stay in front of.
Right on the midway point of the second quarter. And there's foul shots coming here for Palestine. They're in a position now to make it a single-digit game. And steadily eating away at what was a fairly sizable deficit. Salim Sakakini makes them both, so it's just a 9-point game. Pass through to Taulava. Taulava puts it up from mid-range, trying to bank it in. He'll tip it with Ganguelas, not once but twice towards the basket, can't get it to drop. And Palestine, my mistake, it is still a 10-point game, so they're going to come forward to try and make it a single-digit game now. Kawash through the legs a couple of times, takes on the 3, a little bit too long. Here they come in transition all the way to the hoop. There's Kelvin Abueva. That makes it a 12-point game again.
And the golden rule of basketball at a high level like this, if you take a contested 3-point shot, it's an outlet for a rebound, and away goes Abueva and scores.
He gets the strip as well. And moved on towards Castro. Castro fires the pass in towards the low post, back out to the perimeter. In it goes to the low post again. Strong move from Taulava, but he can't put it in.
This is a key possession for Palestine. They've lost their shape and they've lost their structure in the last couple of minutes after they'd really put some pressure on the Philippines. This is where they need to get a good shot.
Yunis trying to create that look now. Kawash steps back for the long 2. It's flatten off the mark, and here comes Abueva again. Quickly across to the far side to Castro, drive towards the baseline, pretty pirouette move in towards Ganguelas, who gets it to rattle around and in.
Jerry Steele finally calls a timeout. He was patient through that first quarter, he didn't call one, but now he's seen enough. Just as they got into a position where they could be back within striking distance, they've let it slip back out to 14.
So Ganguelas gets that one to go. His first points of the contest, and the Philippines lead Palestine 14-26.
You know, in basketball, it's easy after, you know, the pre-game speech or after timeouts, you see teams come out and execute so well. It's in that fog of the up and down that the good players are able to compose themselves and compose their team and get the shot they want. And we've seen the last couple of times, we've seen Kawash rushing onto his right hand, which isn't his preferred, taking tough shots. He needs to pull it out, get that high ball screen where he's looked dangerous, and then they can start picking and choosing as the Philippine defense rotates. But at the moment, they've been sucked into that faster style that the pressure from the Philippines is trying to trap them into. So we'll see the adjustments that Coach Steele has made here, and perhaps we'll see a pick and pop at the top, or we might see the low post down to Sakakini again.
On-court intelligence and on-court leadership key, and that's what Palestine needs. And I think there's a lack of it because of the lack of experience at this level. The Philippines have taken advantage of that so far. Abu Shamala into Sakakini. Sakakini gets it to go off the glass.
And how's that for execution out of a timeout? They get their best player under the basket, one out, and he doesn't make any mistake.
6 points and 7 rebounds in the first half for him now. Philippines with a difficult shot for Castro off the mark, and now a chance for Palestine to get back-to-back baskets off the timeout. Pretty spin move rejected by Ganguelas. Kawash still trying, and they recover the ball with Abu Shamala, who puts it up and puts it in, and he continues to fire. And now has 14.
It's probably not the shot that Coach Steele wanted. You know, the first 8 seconds of the shot clock with a hand in his face. But when you make it, every shot is a good shot.
They will take it, that's for sure. And moved across to the far side now towards Castro. And there's a whistle. So they have cut it to a single-digit game now, Palestine, after that made 3 from Abu Shamala, who now has 15 points in 17 minutes. It's 40-31 in favour of the Philippines, who've led by as many as 16.
And I said earlier in the game that the Palestine perimeter players were failing the test. They've certainly come back with a vengeance, haven't they? Abu Shamala and Kawash, they're getting the better of their opponents at the moment, and it's keeping the Palestinians in the game.
They'll be delighted if they can take just a single-digit deficit into the half. And the Philippines just trying to keep Palestine at bay, making a double-digit lead again with the made free throws.
Well, Sakakini is usually a double-double machine for this team. He's only got 6 points, so if they could be within 10 points at half-time on that, they'd be delighted.
They'll attack the rim again and draw the contact again, and look to continue to keep their scoreboard ticking over. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the first half. 42-31, the Philippines lead.
We see how composed Coach Steele was there, just relaxing his point guard, you know, reminding him of those things that he needs to be able to see in the heat of battle. And you know, when Kawash is poised and seeing the game, good things happen for Palestine.
Salim Sakakini out the line, the brother of the star player Sani Sakakini. This one would make it a single-digit game again. Makes no mistake.
And we see Coach Baldwin, he's happy to test out some of his bench players with Andre Blatch having a rest. He's sitting there watching what they can do, and no doubt assessing, you know, who's going to get the bigger minutes later in the tournament, who can do what he wants them to do under a little bit of pressure.
Real opportunity for Palestine now in the final 2 minutes of the first half as the Philippines turn the ball over. They could make it a 6 or 7 point game. Those made free throws have kept them more than within touching distance. They're 9 of 10 from the foul line in this first half. And Shamala, who's been on fire from the field, got in that one. He'll try and grab the rebound, but Haroon just beaten to it. Here come the Philippines now quickly. Wide open 3 from the far side is good for Calvin Abueva.
And we see almost every time the Philippines can get out quickly from defense, good things happen for them. But it's a balance, isn't it, for Palestine? They've got to contest the offensive boards, but somehow they've got to slow the ball as well.
A travel call for Palestine at the other end. The last basket was chasing Intel for the Philippines to take them back to a 12-point lead. And Palestine putting a good run together, closing the gap down to single digits, and now just the opportunity for all of that good work to be undone here, because the Philippines back up by 12 and then the turnover. They could really do with the defensive stop. Put it up on the outside again, Intel off the mark, and they do get the stop.
And the Philippines have gone into their flow offense, and that is a good offense for getting the defense to collapse and create 3-point shots.
Long three-pointer is good for the star man, Sani Sakakini. When they needed a big basket, cuts it to single digits in the final minute of the first half. The Philippines can't answer back with a basket of their own. Sakakini comes up with a rebound as well. And they could yet make it a very close scoreline at the half, and they make it a 7-point game It's the closest they've got in a long, long time.
Tough basket from Kawash, and he shows no fear when he's in the paint amongst the tall trees.
3 off the mark for Del Campo. And they could make it even closer here. 20 seconds remaining, just a couple of seconds differential between shot and game clock at the end of the first half, just to make it a 4 or 5 point game.
It's a big play for Palestine. They could go in with a head of steam.
It's a huge play. Can they make it? They can. Salim Sakakini, the two Sakakini brothers stepping up right at the end of the first half, and they close the gap to just 5 points, having been down by as many as 16, and the Philippines forced to call timeout.
And we've been talking about the perimeter players, especially Abu Shawa and Kawash, the job they've been doing. But just in these last few minutes, the Sakakini brothers have stepped up, haven't they? They've scored some buckets inside. Just as the Philippines defense has focused more on getting out to the perimeter guys, they've made them pay. And all of a sudden, a 5-point game. Who would have thought at quarter time when it was 15 the difference that we'd be this close at the half?
Some really standout performances for Palestine as part of this comeback. Abu Shamal has been doing it all game long, 15 points and 8 rebounds for him, 10 points for Kawash, but the Sakakini brothers stepping up right at the end of this second quarter, combining for 15 points. Salim with 6 and Sani with 9. He's also got 9 rebounds, by the way, so 2 Palestine players closing in on double-doubles in the first half. The Philippines have 14 points from Blanche, who's been on the bench for a while, and 11 from Castro. They lead by 5 points. Final seconds here of the half. They try and get a shot away. They do get it away, but they can't get it to drop. So what an impressive turnaround for Palestine, who trailed by as many as 16 points. And Sani Sakakini's been a huge part of reeling the Philippines back in. They go down at the half by just 5, led by the 15 points of Abu Shamala with his 8 rebounds, 10 for Kawash, but also 9 and 9 for Sakakini, and Salim, his brother, playing a big part towards the end of the half with 6 points as well.
And just, I think what's so impressive from Palestine is the confidence they've had in their own game when things weren't going well. When you're out in front, it's very easy to be a front runner and take the shots with confidence and attack the basket. When you're down 15 and things aren't working like they should be, that's when you see the players with real character who keep going back to what they're supposed to do. And I think, Abu Shamala has been the real example of that. I think he's been perhaps the most important factor in this turnaround. He's crashed the boards, and when the shot clock's been low, he's been the one prepared to step up and take the tough shots.
Abu Shamala 6 of 12 from the field, including 3 of 6 from downtown, en route to his 15 points. Leading scorer for the Philippines, Andre Blatch, 14 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 11 points for Jason William, 3 of 7 from the field. But really impressive performance from Palestine to get within touching distance of the Philippines at the half. It's 45-40 in favour of the Philippines. Join us for the second half in around 10 minutes' time.
蛮爽的。他要是比你快的话，奖品就回答了，看你表现怎么样。来，刚才26秒计时，准备，开始。哎，不能再断了啊！哎呀，你再给你一次机会，快！10、11、12、13、14、15、16、17、18、19、20，不！哎呀，酸爽啊！上进。我先歇会儿啊，先投着。好，计时最终呢，明显用了31秒。那么最后获得胜利的就是我们的这一位志愿者。那这样啊，这个游戏玩了，但是咱奖品是不是送给现场的观众呢？这样拿到篮球，看谁顺眼，直接送给他。好了，来，我们的志愿者的送礼时间来了，谁想要奖品呢？
球而战。飞马不仅安全球动作把匹克掰开不累。再造。送了。我都是。技术非常深刻，送了。 竞赛。每一滴汗水，为你满意的选择；每一次专注，呵护你所有的幸福；每一次放手，都有我始终如一的品质追求。用心付出，放心收获。用心自然好。湖南粮食集团。一生有你，吉祥人寿，让人人都拥有健康养老保障。天地相系，百强文化。文化集团遍及全球，拥有百家海外企业，经历20载深耕，政企携手，凡人18上，布局全国。爱运动，就要爱国企业。2015国际环联亚锦赛口服类长线赞助商。爱关节，近代关节全球营养品。爱运动，就要爱关节。2015国际环联亚锦赛口服类长线赞助商。爱关节，近代关节全球营养品。湖南建工集团，湖南省首家房屋建筑考总承关科级资质企业集团，连续15年入选中国企业500强，连续15年荣获70项中国建设工程5冠奖，致力打造成为集建筑投资、运作、实施和经营能力于一体的总服务商，国内建筑业先锋企业。为国家经济和社会发展做出更大的贡献。雪花。雪花勇闯天涯。SUV 要有型，够劲，开阔空间，PX3拥有这一切，越人所想，PX3东风悦达起亚。观众朋友们，2015国际篮联亚洲篮球锦标赛要感谢以下合作伙伴的鼎力支持，他们是 Ladies and gentlemen, commencing FIBA Asian Championship is brought to you by the following marketing partners: 东风悦达起亚。
Welcome back to Changsha in China, the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship opening day. And here in Group B, we've got a really close game on our hands as we get ready to start the second half. The Philippines leading Palestine 45-40. It was a very impressive start from the Philippines, led by Andre Blanche, who came close to a double-double in the first quarter, finished the half with 14 points and 8 rebounds, but sat for most of the second quarter. And when he sat, Palestine made their charge, and really impressive performances from Abu Shamala with 15 points, and Kawash also in double figures with 10, and then Sani Sakakini, after a tough start, stepping up with 9 points and getting them within touching distance at the end of the first half. And on their very first performance in the competition, we've been impressed with the fighting character that they've shown.
And we see Philippines going back to their starting lineup. They know there's a threat here, and we'll see if they go to Andre Blatch straight away.
Blatch back in the game, receiving the ball straight away, looking to use that big lump of a body inside, bulldozes his way through, and then it's tipped in by Norwood.
And that's what Gabe Norwood does. He does the little things with his athleticism that most other players can't do.
Abu Shamala, the game's leading scorer, before that basket from Blatch, moves it on, and around the perimeter it goes towards Sakakini. He steps inside and draws the contact. It's a foul on De Ocampo.
A nice first up play from Palestine as well. They get Kawash going to his left hand. He shifts the defense, and it opens up the driving lane for Sakakini.
Non-shooting foul, so Abu Shamala to inbound the ball. Towards Sani Sakakini, out of bounds, still Palestine ball. Off Norwood. Shamala gets it in this time. And Kawash. Bounce pass towards Sanakini. Sanakini looking to go to work here, back out to the perimeter. Kawash tries the three, short. Flash tips it to his teammate, and here come the Philippines at pace. Lovely play as Castro goes all the way to the rim and lays it up and in.
And Palestine, they just have to make those open shots, because otherwise it launches the Philippines' transition game, and you see the result there.
The first 4 points of the second half for the Philippines. They've stretched the lead to 9 as Palestine try and answer back. And there's a foul.
Yeah, Jason Castro got caught on a mismatch there. He had Salim Sakakini on trying to get the box out, and he's just not a big enough man to keep Sakakini off the glass.
A little fortunate to find a way through that time for the score. Here they come with Kawash again, able to move it into Salim Sakakini. Impressive at the end of the first half, can't hit at the start of the second. There's that quick basketball from the Philippines again. And rising towards the rim was Gabe Norwood, who draws the contact from Salim Sakakini and will go to the line for 2.
Unselfish play from Andre Blatch there. He found his teammate. I don't think Gabe Norwood was expecting it, or else he would have flown in for the dunk. At the other end, we saw a nicer, as here we see Norwood attacking the rim aggressively. At the other end, we saw a nice adjustment at halftime from Jerry Steele. When the double team came to Sakakini, he kicked it out. They had the ball screen ready to go straight away so that they could attack the heart of the defense.
We've talked about Blatch almost being like a big, solid fulcrum at the heart of the Philippines' offense, and others flying around with movement around him. He's not had an assist yet in the game. Trying to bring others into play there, earning the trip to the line, but they failed to take full advantage of it. Just the 1 point for the Philippines. They lead by 10 again.
It's a quiet start to the half, but the lead is suddenly out to 10, and it's on the Philippines' terms just at the moment.
They've doubled the advantage from the half with the first 5 points of the third quarter. Monteveros called for a foul.
And as they have all game so far in a time of need, they went to Abu Shamala, and he draws a foul, gives them another opportunity.
Again, non-shooting foul, so they have to work for a shot here with plenty of time left. Here comes to Sakakini, moved on to Kawash. Goes down on the perimeter, trying to find a way towards the baseline. Forced back out again, shot clock now at 4. He puts it up and he puts it well short.
That was outstanding defense from Ponteveros there. Switched the screen, moved his feet, and kept Kawash out of the lane.
Blatch moves it on. Time to think on the perimeter. Drives inside, away from 2, and lays it up and in. De Ocampo makes it a 12-point game, and it's 7 points in a row at the start of the third quarter for the Philippines.
And we talk about De Ocampo as an energy guy, but he's got some offensive skills as well. He can hit the 3, and we saw there he can drive to the lane as well.
Been a really tough start to the half for Palestine. They're able to come away with it somehow here. Still can't hit though. Offensive board, they will finally get going with Salim Sakakini, their first points of the third quarter.
He doesn't look fashionable, does he, Salim? But he bobs up at important times and makes plays like that.
That was a really important play as Blatch tries to hit from the outside, a little bit too long, grabbed by Haroun.
And Palestine showing some zone there, so they've decided to clog up the middle and see if the Philippines can beat them from the outside.
Kawash will just slow it down here, move it into Salim Sakakini. Abu Shamala will put it up just off the mark. Blatch able to grab another rebound. Now has 9. Acres of space on the perimeter again, this time De Ocampo off the mark. Not taking advantage of that space at the moment. Palestine looking to get a bit closer, making a single-digit game again. Offensive rebound for them. Abu Shamala driving inside, hanging it over the top of Blatch, and in the end it's put in by Salim Sakakini, and they make it a single-digit game once more.
And Tab Baldwin not happy on the sidelines. A rushed shot at one end, and they give up 2 offensive rebounds at the other.
Sakakini into double figures as the Philippines get to the basket. De Ocampo couldn't hit from the outside. He gets a couple of points on the inside, and it's a 10-point game again. Abu Shamala looking to attack Norwood here. Moves the ball inside, laid off. And moved in towards Salim Sakakini again, who's really effective here in this opening game. Now has 10 points, and there's 4 in double figures for Palestine.
And I think that's the first time all game we've seen that motion off the low post, and it created a layup.
Norwood walking a tightrope to stay in bounds, moves it on to Castro. Castro out to the perimeter. Good ball movement here, but they can't get the 3 to drop with Hontiveros. Palestine have done well to move it themselves. Off the mark though from Kawash. Another offensive board, close to another. They're continuing to fight. It's only an 8-point game.
That could be a big miss by Salim Sakakini, though. That would have made it 6 points and really put a little bit of pressure on the Philippines and start them thinking about their shots.
Here's Blatch on the foul line, looking to drive inside and call for a travel.
So far today, the refs have been red hot on those travels, haven't they? The up fake and the quick move. They've been watching for any sort of shuffle of the foot. But it's offensive rebounds so far this quarter. The Palestine in the last 2 to 3 minutes have been dominating inside the key, and if that continues, you expect Tab Baldwin to take a timeout and really give his players a spray.
Midway point of the third quarter. It's an 8-point game, and Palestine turned the ball over. An opportunity to close it to 5 or 6 again goes begging.
Again in a 2-3 zone.
Castro looking to drive quickly inside. It's a lovely bounce pass to the baseline. Good movement to get back out in front of the basket from toss, but a difficult shot. Here they come, Palestine up court quickly. A long quarterback-like pass, and Kawash puts it in.
And you can see the defensive strategy on that last play from Palestine. They had 3 players around the man in the key. They don't want any more layups for the Philippines.
That one good for Toss. And this one just a few seconds earlier doubles his tally to 4. The two nations trading blows now after a quick start to this third quarter from the Philippines. Kawash moving it inside towards Sani Sakakini, and he draws the contact from Toss.
Again, that was some really good execution from Palestine, and I think at half-time that's what Jerry Steele has focused on a lot, because they've been that little bit sharper, the way they set their screens, and getting their postman the ball deeper, closer to the basket, rather than midway between the key and the three-point line.
Sani Sakakini now into double figures with 11, going to try and add to that tally here. Lovely move to fade away and knock down the mid-range jumper.
We talked about him struggling, late in that first half. He's up to 13 points already. We probably have as many rebounds as that. It's been a strong performance.
Black short from the foul line. Here comes Palestine looking to make it a 4 or maybe a 3-point game. Abu Shamala off the mark. That would have halved the deficit. Back out to Sakakini, moved on to his brother. Knocked away, out of bounds, still going to be Palestine ball. Blacks wanted it the other way.
And just a little bit more swagger about that possession from the Palestinians as well. I think they're starting to feel good. They're looking, it's only 6 points midway through the third quarter. They're starting to believe a little bit.
Talk about being thrown in at the deep end in this competition. They're finding their feet in this competition. And a foul as Salim Sakakini need to reel in the rebound.
Yet another offensive rebound. I think that's number 18 for Palestine so far in the game. Is that correct?
It's number 18. They have doubled the tally that the Philippines have had.
And as I mentioned earlier, that was probably one of the big differences in the first game of the day, where Hong Kong dominated the offensive rebounds, and it allowed them to control the ball. And a team like the Philippines, who love to run, but to run, you've got to get the ball, you've got to get the defensive board, and so far this half, they haven't been able to do it.
Salim Sakakini made his first 4 foul shots. He's missed both on that trip. Philippines quickly turned the ball over, though, to Kawash. They're struggling right now. Kawash trying to shake off the attentions of Romeo, who commits the foul.
Kawash is looking every bit the floor general out there, isn't he? He's controlling the tempo. He knows when to go fast. You see him there. He knew he had Romeo out of position, and he kept going till he drew that foul.
He's only 4 of 18 from the field, Kawash, but he's still looking like a player that can take this game by the scruff of the neck. He's 4 of 5 from the line. Oh, yeah. He gets that one to drop. 5 of 6 from the line, now has 13 points.
Well, that would be promising signs for Jerry Steele. He'll say Kawash, missing shots he can normally make, and he's still in this ballgame.
Blatch turns the ball over. More than in this ball game. They have a chance to make it a single-digit game.
Well, Blatch has played this entire quarter so far, and the Philippines haven't pulled away at all. So, you've got to look at his fatigue levels. How much will he have left in that last quarter?
Sonny puts it up just short. Salim, his brother, trying to recover, can't quite save it. We talked in the first half about Philippines being dominant when Blatch was on the floor, and then Palestine making a comeback run when he was off the floor. But it's been a different story in the third quarter.
It has, and perhaps the biggest difference, we talked about it earlier, was when would Palestine go to a zone and take away that dominance inside.
Here is Blatch, knocked away by Sakakini, and then batted back to him by his brother, and then quickly moved down court, and Kawash just couldn't quite get the handle on the ball.
And just twice in a row now that under the basket, Palestine have fumbled the ball out of bounds. And in games as tight as this, sometimes you look back on those opportunities and rue those wasted chances.
Just wonder, will they get any closer than this? Will the Philippines start to pick it up on offense now as they move it to Romeo, steps inside, quick move. Across to the far side, they'll move it for the long 2 here, in and out. Abu Shamala secures the defensive board.
Abu Shamala, he is a competitor.
Sakakini from way outside off the mark.
And you just wonder at this point of the game, was that the shot they need?
Plenty of time to line up the 3 here. Another miss, and then a foul under the basket.
Because quick three-pointers like that, there's a pressure valve on the Philippines at the moment. When you take rushed shots from the metre outside the three-point line, you're tempting fate because you can get the Philippines into that open running game. And I think right now is where Palestine need to execute. They need to get some good shots, make this a one-point game, take the lead, and then see how the Philippines react.
The Philippines shooting just 24% from downtown, 4 of 17. Missed their last few. They'll keep trying, and they'll knock it down this time. Terence Romeo from a couple of feet beyond the arc.
And that's going to be the test for the Philippines, isn't it? You can tell that Jerry Steele has identified the players he wants to leave, and they're going to have to be able to make shots to push this buffer out.
One by Sakakini to Salim Sakakini. High off the glass, won't drop for him, trying to grab the ball. It's away and out of bounds off Abueva.
Yeah, you can see the first game of the tournament, a little bit of match fitness starting to come into play. It's been a little bit scrappy. And as we talked about in the first half, who can get that composure right now and start getting the shots they want?
Sakakini, difficult shot on the turn right at the end of the shot clock. Final minute of the third quarter coming up. Abueva, stood by Intel, back out to the perimeter, wide open, he chooses to move it on. And Romeo will try from the outside again, can't make it back-to-back threes.
You know, and I would have liked to see Romeo go at the basket on that occasion, test out the interior defense, see if they can get to the foul line.
Maroon driving inside, off balance as he took the shot. It's still going to be Palestine ball. They've got as close as 5. The Philippines lead now at 8, final minute of the third quarter. Kawash trying to cut the deficit more for Palestine now as he attacks inside, shot clock down to 4, and then the contact comes from Abueva.
That was a sweet move from Kawash. You know, that composure, we talked about it. He's steady, he's in the key here, he's got the tall players around him, but he has the composure to just wait, throw an up fake, and he gets himself to the foul line.
Surrounded by 4 Filipinos there. Kawash at the line with the free throw. These could be key. They've shot well from the line so far. 11 of 15. To that one, it has fallen slightly, their team free throw shooting percentage. 90% at one point in the first half. Gets them to go this time, makes it a 6-point game. Moved around the perimeter here and put up by De Ocampo. Grabbed the offensive rebound with toss. And then he's turned the ball over, so a chance for Palestine to get even closer at the end of the third.
You know, there's a saying in basketball that sometimes if you're open, there's a reason for that, and that's what Palestine are doing at the moment. They're leaving guys like Romeo and De Ocampo on their own, and they're daring them to shoot. And the Philippines need to be smarter than that. They've still got to get the shots they want to take.
4-second differential between shot and game clock. Ball stripped anyway, and here they come down court and miss the open layup. Big chance for Palestine now at the end of the third. They'll go coast to coast, and a chance at a three-point play for Abu Shamala. What a passage of play, a key passage of play that could be in this game.
Where has this guy been hiding? He is incredible. The hustle to chase it down and get the block shot, then get the rebound, take it coast to coast and draw the foul. That's probably the play of the day so far.
17 points for Abu Shamala, and a chance to add one more from the line, and a chance to make it a single possession game. They can't hit, but they grab the offensive board. And that would have made it even more of a story at the end of the third. The shot off the mark, but what a third quarter that was. A 5-point lead for the Philippines at the half, a 4-point lead at the end of the quarter. Back and forth it went. A tremendous finish. The third for Palestine. They'll get as close as they've been in a long, long time after that tremendous play from Jamal Abu Shamala, who leads the game in scoring with 17 points, 7 of 16 from the field. And at the end of 3, the Philippines 59, Palestine 55.
Well, it's the middle of a workday here in Changsha, but it's a healthy crowd that's turned out. They've been given a show. You know, I'm sure at quarter time, quite a few people were thinking, how far Philippines? You know, they could win this by 30, they could win it by 40. But what character shown by Palestine. And, you know, that's a country born out of adversity, and it's coming through in their basketball today. And as I said, that last play by Abu Shamala, I mean, that was just, he's a pure competitor. You know, he didn't want to allow those 2 points. You know, so many players would have given up on that layup. But he's got his country in with a chance. And I think perhaps one of the key figures here is if you look at the minutes played by Abu Shamala, Kawash, and Sani Sakakini, all 3 of them are approaching 30 minutes on the court. And, you know, how much do they have left in their legs? You know, do they need a rest early in this, or does Jerry Steele just have to ride with them and try and use some timeouts, get them to slow the game a little bit so that these guys can execute down the stretch?
Putting in a great effort, Palestine, against one of the superpowers of Asian basketball, and against one of the superstars of Asian basketball. Andre Blatch has been surpassed as the game's leading scorer by Abu Shamala. Kawash has had a big impact as well. Kawash with 15 points, the second leading scorer in the game. Abu Shamala, 17 points and 12 rebounds over the course of 3 quarters so far. What a performance in his country's first ever game at the FIBA Asia Championship.
Tab Baldwin has gone with 5 bench players to start this final quarter. And this could be a key patch. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a bit of trapping defense here, using the energy of these bench guys to try and generate a bit of pace into the game.
Kawash. A chance to make it a single possession game as he moves it in towards Sani Sakakini. Slows down very quickly, back to Abu Shamala. Shamala looking to continue right where he left off. Pretty move to get to the foul line, but misses a difficult shot.
That's a very good defensive possession to start with for the Philippines. Now let's see who can create the shots in this bench unit.
Almost put it away from Deo Campo, able to move it across to Romeo. Romeo's going to put it up. Difficult shot for him. Contested from the perimeter, but they get the offensive board. And he goes to Deo Campo, trying to turn away from Sakakini. Can't quite get the drop.
You know, the question mark on this team without Jeff Jam, without Gary David, without Jim Alaped, who could be the people that can score the points when it's not Castro and when it's not Blatch?
They half the deficit to just 2. Sani Sakakini from mid-range. What a comeback this is from Palestine. And then the Philippines driving all the way up the other end, draw contact. And Abueva has a chance now from the foul line. No, it's a non-shooting foul, I beg your pardon, so they'll inbound. And they need Blatch back in the game.
They certainly do. It's a very short rest for Andre Blatch. Deo Campo to the bench. Let's see what he can create.
He's created a good look from downtown. And Terence Romeo takes full advantage.
I just love the faith he had in his teammate there. You know, Romeo hasn't been shooting the ball well, but Blatch saw him open, didn't hesitate, hit him with the pass, and his faith was rewarded.
Blatch with his first assist of the game. Bounce pass in towards Abu Shamala, forced away. Over to the corner, they'll try and answer back. With one from the outside, it bounces away and over the top of the backboard.
And the Philippines really starting to swarm defensively. They're getting on the post. There was a great quote from Tab Baldwin to his team before the game at their final training session. He said, if you haven't got your hands up in the air, it's not a trap. It's just 2 guys out of position. And we see in the first few possessions here, they've been hard on the post man, hands up in the air, making it a tough pass to the open man.
We talked about the struggles from 3-point range for the Philippines, just 27% from the outside. Palestine struggling even more so, 22% from the outside. They've missed their last 7 in a row. Still, they've kept it a 5-point game.
I think the issue for them is that they've kept taking those shots, and some would say, well, it's confidence. But I think against a team like Palestine, who don't have an elite shot blocker, you've got to take it at them.
Philippines certainly looking to take it at the Palestine defense there. Too much aggression, not enough execution. They turn the ball over.
Yeah, Boever, they're aggressive on the offensive glass, but just a little too aggressive for the referee's liking.
8 minutes to play, 5-point Philippines lead. Abu Shamala has it knocked away. Palestine able to keep the ball with Kawash. Thought about the three. They'll take their time, move it into Sani Sakakini, who pirouettes away from Taulava and puts it in.
And that was outstanding execution because the Philippines defense was up and in. They had hands in the passing lanes. The help defense was good, but they still got the shot they wanted.
Taulava finding Blatch. And a chance at a three-point play for Andre Blatch when the Philippines really needed a lift.
Yeah, Tab Baldwin sent up the bat signal on that occasion, and Andre Blatch, he responds with a strong cut to the basket and a nice finish with the right hand.
16 points for him and a chance to add one to join Abu Shamala and Sani Sakakini as the game's leading scorers with 17. In comes Hamza Youssef, and out goes Salim Sakakini. 10 points for him as he takes a seat.
Yeah, 10 points, 11 boards in 3 quarters of action. That's a strong performance from someone who's not, one of your main scorers. He's certainly done his job so far.
Blatch able to complete the three-point play. Now has 17 points along with 9 rebounds. Kawash. Kawash looking to drive right at the heart of the defense.
Oh my goodness.
And somehow gets it to go. Highlight reel play from Kawash.
It's the referees waved it off. He said that Kawash used his off arm illegally. He's called an offensive foul.
At least he can smile about it.
I think it might be a rueful smile we're seeing there, because as you said, it was a highlight play. Look at the athleticism. I think he's a little unlucky there. I think their feet actually get caught up, and that makes the push-off look a lot worse than it is.
Tough call for Kawash. You can see the surprise on his face.
Now that could be a big moment in the game too. That leads just back out to 6. If the Philippines can score here, all of a sudden that pressure that's been on them for so long goes back onto Palestine.
Potentially pivotal. Moved by Blatch to the perimeter. To Romeo, back to Blatch, to Romeo again. Steps to the perimeter and takes on the three-point shot. They have 2 players going for the same ball, and it's going to be Palestine possession.
That was a fantastic defensive stand from Palestine. Intelligent play. They didn't let them kick it to Blatch for the shot. That's what the Philippines wanted. They made Romeo take the shot.
Kawash controlling the ball again. And it goes to Sani Sakakini. Back out to the perimeter. Ahmed Haroun's going to shoot one. Almost bounced in off the backboard. Recovered by Taulava. 6-point game with 6.5 to play. Blatch to the corner for the open three for JC Intel.
Talk about a point forward. Andre Blatch, he waved the guards away. He took it himself, went to the basket, found the open man. And that's what you want from your #1 player in crunch time.
We talked early in the half about him getting other people into the game. He's come up with a couple of assists now, got his teammates involved. And an offensive foul against Sani Sakakini. And we talked a few moments ago about that call potentially being pivotal. We're seeing a momentum swing right now.
Yeah, we talked about Andre Blatch earlier. Does he have the lateral quickness? At that key moment, he picked it, he read it well. We see him here with a fantastic assist to the corner. Big shot, and at the other end, he makes the defensive play. And with 6 minutes to go, the Philippines are back in the box seat.
Is it going to be one of those days where Palestine gets so close but can't quite do the job? They'll call timeout here, down by 9 again, having got to within a 1-possession game. The Philippines leading 68 to 59 with 6 minutes and 9 seconds to play.
Well, win or lose, Palestine will go out of this game. They'll reflect on it. They'll look at their upcoming encounters with Hong Kong and Kuwait, and they'll say, if if we can go that strong with Philippines, we're a real chance in these next 2 games, and we can get ourselves through to the next round and give ourselves a chance at a quarter-final. And I think for anyone looking at Palestine basketball, making their debut at this level, the first time they've been in a continental tournament since 1970, they can get to the second round. That's a great achievement.
Just seeing some of the highlight plays of Andre Blatch there, 5 of 12 from the field for 17 points in 21 minutes on court. Still 1 rebound away from a double-double. And actually, Palestine have 3 players with double-doubles at the moment. 17 points and 14 rebounds now for Abu Shamala. And they've got 17 points and 13 boards for Sani Sakakini and 10 points and 11 boards for Salim Sakakini. Tremendous individual displays for them. Here's Blatch putting on a display of his own, grabs his own rebound and puts it in. Now the leading scorer in the game with 19.
Speaking of double-doubles, you know, another rebound, another 2 points for Andre Blatch, and it's been no surprise that when they're being challenged in this last quarter, the Philippines have gone to Blatch at the front of the rim.
The superstar players stepping up when they've needed it. Had to use him perhaps more than they'd want to. Abu Shamala from the outside, nothing but net. Tremendous performance from him. He now has 20, and the Palestinians just refuse to let the Philippines get away. Blatch on to Taulava. Taulava steps inside, and then the pass off the mark to Abueva.
Yeah, and this is the time of the game where you need your playmakers making plays. You don't want Andre Blatch giving the ball off to Taulava and saying, you create something. And that you saw the result. It's a miscued path. They need it to either be Romeo, Abueva, or Blatch making plays and bringing other guys into the game.
The midway point of the 4th quarter. It's a single-digit game. Palestine have a chance to close the gap with Abu Shamala. Driving in towards the baseline, can't hit that time. Youssef trying to grab the board, but the Philippines come away with it.
Yeah, and fascinating that, that Castro hasn't been on the court much this final quarter. The same with Gabe Norwood. So Tab Baldwin perhaps resting them and testing out his other players, or is there another concern down there with those 2 starters?
One of the concerns for the Philippines as well in this competition, aside from the fitness of Andre Blatch, they're the oldest team in the competition, an average age of 31.
Yeah, the oldest team, but also because of some changeover, some older players who perhaps don't have a lot of international experience. And it's also a little paradox because they love playing at high speed, yet they are an older team and their best player isn't in peak physical condition. So it's going to be a real balancing act for Tab Baldwin across the 2 weeks.
Second free throw off the mark from Abueva. So it remains a single-digit game, 4.5 minutes to play. Palestine remain with more than a good chance here as they shoot from the outside again. Off the mark, rebound dropped by Taulava.
I would have loved to have seen Kawash come off that screen, get into the defense and then create a shot for Sakakini, because when he's been open today, that 3-point shot has been pretty good from the big man.
JC Intel turns the ball over. They're being presented with opportunities to make it closer and closer. Palestine, can they take them? Kawash, Sani Sakakini, looking to prod and probe and play aggressively, and a little bit too aggressively.
Yeah, I think there's fatigue showing right there. You know, earlier in the game, he had those little dream shakes going and he hit a couple of his fadeaways, but it seemed like he was tired. He perhaps ran out of ideas on that move.
Contact drawn by the 42-year-old Asi Taulava. Romeo to Taulava. Taulava was looking for Blatch, goes back out to the outside instead. The offense not running smoothly. Palestine come away with the ball. It's a long, long 3. Off the mark from Sakakini. Still going to be Palestine ball.
You know, and they've got to find that balance. Yeah, a timeout called by Jerry Steele, because There's still 3:48 to play. You don't need to take rush shots. You know, you can get a good shot in 14 seconds as opposed to a rush shot in 7 seconds. There's a big difference between the two without taking a lot of clock off.
So Palestine timeout, down by 9 points. The Philippines leading 71-62. Leading scorer in the game is Abu Shamala with 20 points. As we take a look at some of the foul trouble, the two Sakakinis there, 4 and 3 fouls respectively. 4 players in double figures in scoring for Palestine, 3 with double doubles. Abu Shamala leads the way, 20 points and 14 rebounds. Tremendous performance for him.
As we see some of his highlights here, and you know, now it comes down to picking your poison if you're Palestine. Who do you go to? And I think Abu Shamala has been the standout, but do you want him on the three-point line? Has he still got the legs? He's played every minute of the game. Can he hit those deep threes, or do they need to get him on the curl cuts where he's hitting from 12 to 15 feet and then you crash the offensive glass after the defense has rotated? So be interesting to see what Jerry Steele's come up with out of this timeout.
3 big scorers for them with Abu Shamala, Kawash and Sakakini. Abu Shamala's been probably the most consistent throughout the game. His shooting percentage is the best too at 42%. The others have taken a lot of shots to get to their points tallies. Here's Kawash, 4 of 19 from the field. It's going to be Abu Shamala who puts it up this time. A miss from him. And the rebound for Black.
That was a good play. It got a good look for a player who's been hot today, but he just didn't make the shot.
3.5 minutes to play. Idris turning, moving it back to the perimeter. They'll find Blatch in the corner. He tries a 3, can't hit. Kawash was trying to pirouette away. Romeo takes the ball.
He just wanted that more. That's a big play from Romeo and gives the Philippines another chance, and they could almost lock it away here.
Just beyond the foul line, it's a little bit too long. And then there's a whistle, contact under the basket.
Yeah, smart play from Andre Blatch. He knew what his team... In fact, the foul's been called on Blatch by the look of it. So I'll take that back. He had slid along the baseline to get into offensive rebounding position, but obviously the refs saw a little bit of illegal play in there.
Final 3 minutes of the game. And Palestine, in their first ever appearance in the competition, have kept it close. They'll try and get closer with Sani Sakakini.
And they look great when Kawash is setting up Sakakini for those mid-range jump shots, and they're still in this ball game.
Just a 7-point game now. Blatch moves it across to the far side. Hontiveros moves it on. Romeo still looks like he's got plenty of energy. Looking to drive right down the centre of the defence. Picked off though. Sakakini plays the pass forward and Kawash will put it in to cut the deficit to just 5 points with 2 minutes and change remaining.
And Sakakini returns the favour, and smart play by Kawash. He anticipated the turnover and he got down the court ahead of the defence.
Across to the far side to Romeo. Trying to get away from Kawash. And he goes towards the paint, put up from mid-range and off the mark by De Ocampo. And with 2 minutes to play, they can make it a really, really close game here, Palestine. Abu Shamala puts it up from downtown and puts it in. He's having a monster game. 23 points, his 5th from three-point range, and it's a one-possession game.
And that was just lazy transition defense from the Philippines. Abu Shamala is the hot man on the night with 23 points. They let him dribble the length of the court, size it up, and knock down the dribble. And in response, Tab Baldwin's put in Jason Castro to see if he can make some plays. Because when Blatch has been covered defensively, no one else on the Philippines team has been able to consistently create anything.
We've got a tremendous final 2 minutes on our hands here in what has been a tremendous contest throughout. Blatch is going to shoot a 3 again, off the mark, now just 1 of 6 from downtown. And a chance to tie for Palestine from 16 down. Abu Shamala for 3, bang!
Oh my! This man is on fire. What a performance we've seen. We talked about Sakakini coming into this game, and while he's been solid, Abu Shamala has said, I can carry my country on my back too, and he's carried them into the lead with 94 seconds to play in the game.
Back-to-back threes, 26 points in the game, 6 of 10 from downtown for Abu Shamala. What a performance from him.
And we see this replay here. When that lead extended back out to 8 points, it was Andre Blatch at the front of the rim finishing off. The last couple of possessions, we see him floating out to the three-point line and shooting from long range. They need to get him back to the front of the rim because Palestine can't stop him in there. On the other side of the coin, yeah, we talked earlier in the game about the self-belief of the Palestinians when they fell 15 points down, and those last 2 shots from Abu Shamala, that confidence to be able to dribble down in transition and know that if he misses those shots, it's possibly curtains for his team, but he steps up and knocks them both down.
What a performance from so many of those Palestine players. You see the Sakakini basket there, 19 points for him. And in comes Youssef to the game for the final 94 seconds now. Off the timeout, the Philippines could really do with a basket here.
Got a double foul called. So that'll be Philippines ball. The bonus of that for Palestine is they saw the play that the Philippines want to run. So let's see if they make some adjustments.
And towards Blatch, back out to the perimeter. They'll look to drive inside, moved on to Ontiveros. Now Castro puts it up for 3, short. Blatch with another rebound, turns towards the rim and puts it in. Big play from a big player at a big time.
It's a simple game sometimes. If you've got a star big man, get him the ball near the basket and good things will happen.
The two nations trading blows and trading leads now. Palestine looking to get themselves back in front with Abu Shamala. He's been the big hitter for them so far. Off the mark that time though. We're into the final minute and the Philippines have the edge.
They've got to go back to this again. They can't settle for three-point shots. It's got to be low post or penetration.
Here Campo, left with room to step into. Castro moves it across to the far side. Little left of the basket from Ontiveros. And out of bounds, it's going to be Palestine ball.
And the Philippines haven't had any consistent answers for this zone defense in the second half. And once again, can the Palestinians take the lead? But with the Rugby World Cup recently, they talked about Japan beating South Africa as one of the greatest upsets of all time, but surely this would rate every bit as highly as that.
It has been a performance of heroes from those in red so far. Can they cap it with the dream finish? 8-second differential between shot and game clock as Palestine try and retake the lead, and a chance of a three-point play for Sani Sakakini, and look what it means.
They are on the verge of something great, the men in red. And it was the pick and roll execution again from Kawash. What poise. And an excellent cut in behind the defense from Sakakini. Ontiveros was caught asleep, let the star big man get in behind him, and then made the mistake of grabbing his singlet. There's only 16 seconds to play. He makes this free throw. All the pressure back on the Philippines.
Talk about being pumped up, talk about a big performance. 22 for Sakakini, as well as the 26 from Abu Shamala. 15.8 seconds to play. Palestine lead by 2. What an upset this would be on the opening day of the FIBA Asia Championships. Philippines know that they have to execute off the back of this timeout.
This is stunning, absolutely stunning, and the pressure on Tab Baldwin now. What sort of play does he come up with? Does he go for the 2 and look for overtime? Or does he settle for 3, even though his team hasn't been able to connect from long range with any sort of consistency in today's game? And for me, I'd be looking to get Andre Blatch rolling to the basket. And here we see Abu Shamala, clutch shot, pulls up with a man in his face and nails the triple. At that stage, it looked like it was too far for Palestine, but they are back with a vengeance. Now you could almost say they're in the box seat and heading towards first place in this group if they can hang on for the next 15.8 seconds.
We've got a grandstand finish on our hands in the second game of the opening day at the FIBA Asia Championship. Whichever way it goes, what a job they've done just to carry it this far after going down big early on, 15 down at the end of the first quarter. They have edged closer and closer. The Philippines have threatened to get away time and time again, but Palestine just haven't let them. Now it's the Philippines who need to score.
Still a zone defense from Palestine.
Moved on to Castro, 7 seconds to shoot. The number 7 steps inside, move back to the perimeter. Blanche going to shoot for 3 and rejected by Sakakini.
0.1 on the clock. That's only long enough for a tip. I expect we're going to... It looks like Jerry Steele is calling a timeout, which surprises me because the Philippines had used all their timeouts. Now they get the opportunity.
So the timeout called by Palestine with 0.1 left on the game clock. There is still the opportunity for the Philippines to tie here, but it has to be executed to perfection. Otherwise, it's going to be a first win in a first game at the FIBA Asia Championships for Palestine.
And just so surprising to me that they went to the three-point shot, because they just haven't been able to hit that shot, the Philippines, all game. And they've lived and died by that three-point shot ever since Palestine switched into the zone early in the second half. And with the biggest, baddest man on the court, they left him in the corner rather than getting him under the basket to win the game. It's Sani Sakakini. He hasn't been the superstar.
And Blatch is only 1 of 7 from downtown as well.
Now, I think the Philippines copped a break there. I think Jason Castro touched that ball while it was out of bounds, but the referee was blindsided.
I think, if I'm right, Blatch hit his first as well, which means he's missed 6 in a row. And batted away.
That is the ball game.
That will do it. It's a dream debut in the competition for Palestine, an historic win, and you can see what it means for them. What a story on the opening day of the FIBA Asia Championship. In their very first game on this stage, they beat the second most successful nation in tournament history. It is Palestine celebrating at the end of game 1. Abu Shamala with a remarkable performance, 26 points and 15 rebounds, and there was a 22-point game and 14 rebound game, I beg your pardon, from Sani Sakakini, who came up with that big block shot right at the end.
Can you believe it? Can you believe that has happened? Not only has Palestine beaten the Philippines, they've come from 15 points down to do it. A remarkable performance from that group of young men. No matter what happens over the rest of that tournament, they'll talk about this day for the rest of their lives when they stunned the silver medalists from 2 years ago and put themselves in the driver's seat to go to the second round of this tournament.
Final score, Philippines 73, Palestine 75. You say coming from 15 down, it was 15 down at the end of the first quarter. I think they were down by 16 at one point in that second quarter. Quite a remarkable turnaround. And the thing that really stood out, apart from these numbers, look at those big scoring games. 26 for Abu Shamala, 22 for Sani Sakakini, 17 for Kawash. Blatch, 21 points for the Philippines, but just 1 of 7 from the outside, missing his last 6 in a row, including that big shot right at the end. Huge rebounding numbers as well. 3 players with double-doubles for Palestine. Big players at a big time in a big game, stepping up to the plate when it really matters. Yeah, to create history.
Absolutely. And I mean, imagine before they left, President Mahmoud Abbas hosted them in the Palestinian, in the presidential palace. He wished them well as they went. He said, you represent everyone from Palestine. So imagine the scenes in that country right now. What a victory for them. And you talk about that final block from Sakakini. I think he only made 1 of his first 9 shots. He was looking frustrated, he was looking despondent, but he turned his game around. He had the mental strength And all of a sudden, he finishes with 22 points. He went 8 of 14 after his cold start, and then he made the play of the day at the end to seal the victory. We look at some of the highlights. This is early in the game when things were going to plan for the Philippines. You know, 3-point shots were dropping. Blatch was having his way in transition. Look at that athleticism. And the Palestinian bench was very happy at the time. Blatch could step outside and hit the three. And those watching in Manila were feeling very comfortable at that point. But soon enough, things would change. Here's Sakakini as he starts to get into the game. Jerry Steele, he kept his cool, didn't he? He never panicked. He stayed with the plan. We see Kawash, who talked about his game. He didn't have the greatest shooting night, but he was the general. And this man was the rock inside.
Well, one of those players, Kawash, who had a slow start to the game. There were several of them finding their feet the very first game for all of them in the competition, but they grew as a team, they grew in character, and at 16 down, they could so easily have hung their heads against an experienced Philippines team, but instead, they chose to fight for the cause. They showed all of those good qualities, good attributes, and great heart for what has to be one of the stories of this tournament on the opening day here.
Yeah, no question. And they looked nervous early. They didn't look like they were a bad team, but they were rushing things. Occasionally they were getting caught up in that fast-paced game. And how about that for a pass from Kawash? That was a real turning point, because up till then, the Philippines had kept withstanding the challenges, and they'd extend the buffer back out. And there's the moment that no basketball fan in Palestine will ever forget. Look at the looks on their faces. And that's real passion, and that's what the FIBA Asia Championship is all about.
They have their royal invitation. There might just be a party at the Palace tonight.